Hey, so I was just sitting here. I had a good day. I'm happy. I got to do some brazing. I got to test out some new tools. And one of the things that we've kind of, not we, I say we, me, um, struggled with in the past is the correct nitrogen flow. When brazing, generally speaking, um, unless the situation is really outlandish, well, you should have the inside of your pipes filled with dry nitrogen while you're making any brazed connections to prevent the buildup of carbon on the inside of the pipes, which would later cause damage to the components in the system. Well, potentially 10, 20 years later, but still, it's the right thing to do. I got today to use for the first time because I got it a while ago, but I couldn't find it, and now I found it and I used it, and I love it. It's the nitrogen flow regulator from Uniweld, and it's a. What's nice about it is it has like this little ball that indicates the flow of refrigerant. I'm sorry, the flow of nitrogen, and it's such a small amount that you can't really tell at all that it's there. But the indicator lets you know that it's there. Um, Previously, I used to stick it in my ear, the refrigerant hose, and if I could hear or feel anything, it was the right amount. And if I could, you know, basically feel nothing, it was uh, not there. And obviously, your ears are very sensitive, so I had I don't want to say a huge problem with that method, but I definitely had leaks. You know, every once in a while, especially on the last joint you'd be making, even though it would be vented, you know, there'd be enough pressure built up in the system. Um, I, I imagine it was me not going back and putting the thing to my ear after I closed off escape route after escape route, but still, the um the lack of a visual indicator was really it caused leaks, and those leaks made me gun shy about doing my job correctly. And I got this new tool, and I basically got to do my job perfectly, and it was very satisfying. I feel extremely satisfied with myself right now. Um, so I just wanted to take a minute because I've gone essentially bankrupt while trying to prepare for what I feel is the man-made portion of it's all man-made. The problems we face are our own, as humanity, and largely as individuals. Definitely as humanity. I think that whatever the economic and socio-political aspects of whatever era you want to call this. I think that the times ahead are dangerous and turbulent, and that's just my opinion. I don't think I'm alone in that opinion, but it's my opinion. I'm nervous and I'm trying to prepare to the best of my ability, and part of that preparation at this point has been tools for my job because A, it's a distraction from a lot of things that I want to be distracted from, and B, it's an opportunity to capitalize on a unique economic period in human history, and that's the death of a currency. Um, for our entire lives, the U.S. dollar has had value. It's been ingrained in our psychology that people spend their whole lives doing nothing, but pursuing a piece of paper that a government prints. And that time, I mean, I might be wrong. I don't think I'm wrong, but I think there's a possibility that, you can't even trust your own senses. So there's a possibility, obviously, I'm wrong. If there's a possibility, I can't trust my own senses. But I believe um, that the rational part of my brain here is in full control, and I believe that. And again, I don't can't say anything with 100% certainty. I think that excluding nanobots, you know, manipulating my five senses and monitoring my sixth is is about the only scenario in which we are not about to suffer the, you know, I don't want to say biblical because it happens all the time. It happens all over the world all the time. Let's say our Venezuela. Okay, we're gonna suffer something on par with what Venezuela has gone through, starting under Obama, with the collapse of the oil price. That is probably coming to America, along with a lot of Venezuelans. That's neither here nor there. It's it's about you know how can we, as just animals on a rock, best protect ourselves in turbulent times. I don't know. Like I said, a lot of this is a distraction for me, but I am making an honest effort to um, alleviate my future suffering and the suffering of people in my proximity. Um, that is the effort, whether or not I'm succeeding. Maybe not the bankers. Maybe I'm not helping the bankers. But the people in my proximity, if they're a banker and they're my customer, they benefit. But other than that, if they're not my customer, or whatever, the people who are invited me to their house and then refusing to pay, which will probably be happening again in a week or two, if you can call them customers, I'll still work. I swear, I like it. As long as my boss keeps paying me to go to their houses, I'll keep showing up. Whatever. Um, yeah, I think that we're about to go through something crazy with our currency, and I don't know if it's gonna buy the same resources from other countries. So, because of that, I think that tools are going to become difficult to get, as well as motors, not ICP. It's ICE, internal combustion engines, ICP. All right. Anyway, I'm not a fan, but I'm aware. Um, well, I'm not a fan. I just don't listen to them. Anyway, what I was saying was, I've been spending a fair amount of time trying to prepare for years, and this stage of the preparation has moved towards the professional side of things, not because that's the most important part of life, but because that happens to be the focus of my mind. That happens to be where I am in my preparation hierarchy. So, if you're unprepared to survive a month by yourself, locked in a house, you should not be buying tools with your last dollar. That would not be smart. You should be able to survive longer than a month locked in your house. That is not an unreasonable prepper threshold to start. But where I am is, I'm not really like, let's go. Basically, at this point, food, if I can't live off the land after my preps are gone, I don't want to live. That's it. I got enough trapping equipment to settle the score. That's, there's, I'll trap it, and if that is, if my trapping is not going to feed me, then we are living on a planet that I don't want to live on anymore. So that's my food preps after you go through the buckets. Um, and I've kind of gotten to the point in a lot of ways where it's like quality of life just gonna determine the duration of my life, as opposed to just duration at any means. I've embraced the idea of not dying, but being dead, the lack of consciousness, and to get there is probably not gonna be fun, but I'm not scared of going there at all. And if my quality of life or my projected quality of life dips below a certain threshold, I'm gonna go there. I'm excited to get there. Uh, Even if it is just dark emptiness, it's so nice. You know, if you live in an infinite universe, your reincarnation is a guarantee. If you live in a finite universe or layered reality or a combination thereof, um, your ascension, descension, and reincarnation are probably guaranteed. In other words, like as you add more layers of infinite possibility, and if you, so let's say you embrace like a higher dimensional afterlife, now I'll just leave it there. People imagine higher and lower dimensions how they like. Lower dimensions is reduction in the number of, but you get my point. It's it's an infinite kingdom by their story anyway. So when you rise to the higher dimension, you're rising into an infinite dimension, and the parallel would to say that reincarnation. That's just saying that this dimension is infinite, and it doesn't necessarily discount a higher dimension. It just says that this can be infinite too. We can have reincarnation on this conscious plan. Um, we can potentially ascend, and they do have that belief. And I say that it is a we. I'm definitely applying race to an ideology. It's not probably as thoughtful as I should be. The truth is that's pretty much it. There isn't much separation in cultural ideas of afterlife. I think it's just a question of if you're reincarnated on this dimension, in this plane, and you're a good person, you do great work with right effort and all that. Eventually, the odds are you're gonna hit a planet like Earth that is populated with less burdens, and it's called the Pure Land, and it's not meant to be like pure anything. I think it's something they say, but the Pure Land is just like the heaven, the Shambhala or the Shangri-La, the place without death. And then, like, as you approach hell, you have increased rates of death and rebirth. So with death and rebirth, you have more suffering. And with less death and less rebirth, you have less suffering. And that's all. And they see it, we see it as, you cycle through these periods where you have more death and rebirth, and then you cycle these periods where you have less death and rebirth. And so that's kind of where my mind's at. And so when I see like all this economic and political stuff, it's like, Yeah, but the death, it's the suffering. It's not gonna be just money and you know, but I suppose I distract myself with the tools, and some people are gonna distract themselves with the money. But I don't know. It's coming. It's coming fast. I don't know if if people are gonna behave themselves, or uh, if anything is gonna protect people. Like you could have all the preps in the world. I was talking to an old, not, it was two old dudes. It's, um, yeah, maybe 70, 85. Retired guy, worked for either IBM, worked for IBM. Oh, he actually did computer repair, right? That was his job. People repaired computers back in the day. And he was kind of giving me the old, you might be going my way too. They might just have disposable heating systems and disposable air conditioning systems. It's a possibility. Um, but the you know truth is that what they were really telling me at the end of the story was, if you don't have a way to protect yourself, it doesn't matter all the food, all one jerk, one jerk with a gun, and all your work is theirs. One jerk with a gun. So our founders tried to protect people because they knew. But then fear was used to justify tyranny. And women rewarded the tyrants with sex. And then, that's just what happens. I don't like this country being the way it is today. I think it's an embarrassment, and I think that everybody who died for this country would kick the fucking ass of anybody who's pretending to be a hero today. That's what I think. But the dollar is probably not gonna pay for anybody's retirement, and I think that's a good thing. What I don't think is a good thing is the violence that they'll probably use in its stead, because they don't have any tools and they don't have any skills. So I'm going to do my best. I forgot why I started this video. I was excited about, yeah. So this was my epiphany today. And it's true. So in order to be not the perfect, I'm a service tech. I'm not. I say this with like air of arrogance. I'm not an installer, but no. And I say that because I am a terrible installer, and it's true. I'm really pretty good at diagnosing problems quickly, and especially electrical issues. And I just with most of this stuff, it's like I'm walking in the door and I'm knowing what it is. I have three guesses in my head just based on the type of equipment and the problem being, and I figure the problem out quick, and I'm good at it. And I know all the supply houses, and I know all the and it's been my life for a long time. And I started, doing more installs at this place, and it's not a bad thing. Because I'm working on different types of equipment, and getting familiar with that type of equipment is, critical. And working on the installation of it is obviously gonna help me really go through it with a fine tooth comb. But today I was kind of doing, so basically, I might get my torch out, you know, a couple times a week, doing service. If you're doing installs, it's out every day. And so it's, same thing with like a lot of the tools. It's the cycle duty is way up. So I'm kind of refining my skills and getting a lot better at a lot of stuff. And I was just thinking, like, the absolute perfect install. I mean, you're pulling like a 400 micron vacuum, and you want to do it quick, and you're brazing with nitrogen, and you're purging. I was thinking, basically, the only thing I need, not need, want, but it would be cool to be like the perfect tech is the reverse manual for my tubing bender, so I can bend backwards, because I think that would be super handy, especially coming off of a side of a building and just bending right out instead of making that bend ahead of time. Such a pain in the neck. I'm like, basically, I have all my swaging tools. I got multiples. I got multiple tubing benders. I just have to put this stuff to use. And there's, like, and putting it into use with the proper amount of time to do everything the right way, like, the sky is the limit. I could literally build anything. Anything. It's, it's amazing, really, when my mind starts to wander. Um, but now, like, I'm looking, I'm like, I need this. I'm like, I can build it. I need this tool. I was looking at these tools that would increase the recovery of my refrigerant and the speed in which basically it's like a booster condenser that you put on the discharge line of your reclaim machine to cool down the hot gas. Um, so it can A, just put less strain on the compressor, and B, just um well, that's pretty much it. Yeah, it's it's less strain on the compressor, less head pressure. The compressor doesn't have to work as hard and can pump more refrigerant out. And it's like, I can make that. It's, I am welding and all that stuff. I got everything. And it's, but so the basically, to be the perfect service tech and to do my job to the absolute nines, I have everything I need. I'm just at this point, maybe one more tool. Some of the stuff I'm buying as a redundancy to equipment that my boss has. So I don't even necessarily need it because it isn't really a employee's standard. But I'm also thinking, I'm like, if things go really sideways, I should have everything I need to run my own company. As far as like my own reclaim machine goes and stuff like that. But I don't need it. It's an above and beyond. I have my own vacuum pump rig. I have my own everything. The only thing I really don't have is the reclaim machine and tanks. I don't buy tanks because what the hell I need anytime I need a tank, I go get a tank. It's not a problem, but I'm not gonna have my own tanks for swapping. My boss can buy those tanks. That's it, But the reclaim machine, I mean, maybe one reclaim tank, I suppose, would be nice to have for side jobs. If I ever do a side job, I don't do side jobs because I got robbed, and I won't ever do that again. Once you get robbed, no, I'm not gonna put myself out there and just get, stuck up for a few bucks. Not worth it. Yeah, not a fan, but I could see in some sort of post-apocalyptic hellscape me having to go out there and try to, you know, swing a bat at these zombies and run a company in exchange for currencies that won't exist. That's gonna work. Who knows? I'm a big fan of silver. I think that we'll see rapid inflation. I think we're gonna see a few big names um, moving to China in rapid succession. Once one international businessman with no real American allegiance per se. I mean, everybody likes the ideals of America. I think the American values set forth in our literature, in our culture, and certainly in our advertising are perfect. Perfect. I mean, from my point of view. But from a business perspective, it's about stability of law. Okay, if you want to attract people to your country for business investment, you need to prove to these people that your laws will be consistent and stable over the long term. If they do not have faith, not just in your taxes, in your taxation, but I mean we're talking about full out government seizure of property. Okay, we're talking about all sorts of crazy stuff. When people don't feel secure, they won't do business in America. It would be stupid. It's true all over the world. If you want to go to a country and you want to make it into a second world or first world country, you need to stabilize the laws for business to happen. And you need to make it clear to investors that these laws, whatever they are going to be consistent in the long term. And when businessmen believe that, they'll find a way to win. And when businessmen feel like the rules are going to change tomorrow, they know they can't win. It's impossible. So they won't play. That's where we're at. Good luck, guys. Need it.